This is Caleb Crouch, and you're in the Short Go. I want to read from 2 Peter chapter 3 and take two verses specifically. If you have the time, I'd encourage you to go and read the whole chapter. But I want to think about the simple side of life and basically come down to one thing that matters most. If I would call this anything, it's nothing else matters but that you make it to heaven. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10 says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversations and godliness?" I like what 2 Peter, the Amplified version, I just read from King James. I'll read to you the Amplified of both of those verses. And it goes like this: "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, and then the heavens will vanish with a mighty and thunderous roar, and the material elements will be destroyed with intense heat, and the earth and the works that are on it will be burned up." Verse 11, "Since all these things are to be destroyed in this way," Peter writes, "what kind of people ought you to be in the meantime? In holy behavior, which is a pattern of daily life that sets you apart as a believer, and in godliness, displaying profound reverence towards our awesome God." If I would respond to what matters most in my life, what matters most in your life, according to God's word from the beginning to the end, it's what He sees you and I live out, who we really are. In verse 11, it shares that we should live in a pattern of daily life that sets us apart as believers. We are no longer identified to this world when we come to Christ. When we accept Him in our lives, we realize that self, the old man, this guy, doesn't really matter. When you look, and if any of you have had an experience of a fire, or we heard all through the news not too long ago about great floods, and the reality is that people's whole livelihoods were swept away, or like a fire, a house fire, they were burned up. And the next day, the next 3 months from that point, that awful experience of losing nearly everything, you will find that they're still here, hopefully. Sometimes they're losing loved ones. They've lost loved ones. They've lost some precious goods, earthly things. But Peter is writing in chapter 3, and he's sharing everything here on earth is temporary. And it doesn't matter what is done for Christ and what you do with your life on behalf of calling yourself a follower of Christ is truly what matters. When we look at things and get ourselves off of this earthly side of focus, we realize that in eternity, which is forever, you got a whole package of paper and put a dot on the first one. Imagine eternity. The rest of those papers are blank after a blank. Eternity is forever. And what your life represents in the eyes of God is what matters most.